That's right. Free help for people on Medicare. So if you're in the Dothan area and you're in the need of Medicare, give them a call. They'll set up a time to go over the information with you and help you make the decisions that are best for you. You won't regret it. Number 37, Dothan's very own, Ty Powell.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Thanks for having me.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the podcast is because you have such an interesting story, right? Yes, it's called the Dothan Area Business Podcast. No, you don't own a business, but it's my podcast and I can do whatever I want with it. So here we are. But you have such an interesting story because you have served all 3 seasons for Dothan Dragons. We've known you for so long, ever since you coached our kids in Micro Shockers. I mean, you were just such a upstanding young fella when we met you. And I remember telling my wife, I was like, that's a good dude. And she agreed. But no, I mean, you're homeschooled. You played soccer at DHS. You were phenomenal there. And now you're over at AUM and you're able to come into Dothan and play for the Dragons. You know, you've had a fantastic season so far. I mean, scoring twice in the friendlies. I mean, that's pretty epic.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to record it and share it so this way people can experience this part of your life, especially since you have such a unique perspective of being here before Dothan United, and now you're here helping establish Dothan United, man. So let's kind of start from the beginning. How long have you been playing soccer?
I started playing shortly after I moved to Dothan, which was when I was about 9.5 years old.
Okay.
So I was an avid baseball player up until then. So then I moved to Dothan and I actually was playing Micro Shockers, same where your kids were. And my coach there, who's soon to be coach, was like, hey, you're pretty good at this. You know, maybe you should come over. So for some reason, I couldn't tell you why, I dropped years of baseball lessons, games. That was my sport. And I just transitioned to soccer and I never looked back. So now about 10 years, 11 years.
10 or 11 years of playing soccer. And so what is it about soccer that like made you fall in love with it?
I think what it was I did have like more of a natural ability to it. So I enjoyed that more. And it was also, I enjoyed practicing it more. I remember playing baseball, like I loved the games, but I hated practice. Like I hated going out on my own and doing things like that. But with soccer, like I really enjoyed just going out in the backyard and moving the ball around and, you know, even playing with my dog, stuff like that.
Now, you were homeschooled. How long were you homeschooled for?
I started homeschooling halfway through my 4th grade year.
Okay.
So we lived in Ozark. I went to GW Long. And then halfway through my 4th grade year, my parents pulled us. Okay. And then shortly after that, we moved to Dothan.
And where did you move from?
Ozark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like you were in some far off distance.
No. It was 30 minutes away.
Okay. So was your dad military or were you guys... Okay, so your dad's military. He meets your mom, who's absolutely lovely. I met her through the Dragons, but got to know her more through SEAT. And she's amazing. She's great.
Yeah, I'm so blessed.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about how like Stephanie and I are trying to raise our kids, and like we want our house to be the house where the kids come to, you know, especially when they're teenagers. And, you know, that's why we're like, we'll have to show you around, but that's why we have like a basketball arcade upstairs for, you know, in Landon's room. And we got a ping pong table in the garage, and we, you know, have the pool. And like, we want the things for the kids to go, hey, let's go to, you know, the Rojas house. Yeah. And she was definitely advocating for that, and she said that was her house too. Like, there was always a kid over there. So all right, and so, you know, Ozark, down in Dothan, gave up baseball, playing soccer, played in high school, DHS. What position?
I was a center back pretty much always.
Okay.
I think a little bit my 7th grade year I played in the midfield. I played for Dothan High before they merged, so when it was still Dothan Northview. And I actually played on the varsity team my 7th grade year.
Really?
I was the first homeschooled student to go through the Tim Tebow Act and play for Dothan High.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's funny, man. Landon wants to be a part of the welding program at DHS. Like, shout out to Alan Kingry. He's phenomenal. We were going to look at Wallace. Yeah. But we've known Alan for a couple of years, and we're like, why would we send our son to Wallace, to instructors we have no idea about, when we can send them to like a top-notch human being and a brother in the Lord, and Alan Kingery. So, so he's going to DHS to be a part of the welding program, and we're like, oh man, he's got to play a sport.
Oh, what sport?
Yeah, I know. You know, he does jujitsu. I was like, man, why don't you just do wrestling? Like, they're in the same vein. But he's like, no, I want to play soccer.
Do it.
Like, okay.
That's a great program there.
Yeah.
No bias. That is a great program.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. So you used the Tim Tebow law. You were playing at DHS since 7th grade, and then what do you, aside from the Dragons, like what have you been doing since high school?
Oh well, immediately after high school, I moved to Tennessee. I took a gap year, so I didn't immediately go to AUM. I was committed to AUM, but I took a gap year with a gap year program called PCDA, Pre-College Developmental Academy. And so what I did is I lived there for a year, and it was pretty much like a UPSL team. I don't know if you're familiar. It's kind of like USL2, but it's year long. So it's an actual league, and it's probably considered like a step lower than USL2.
Right.
But I played there for a year, and then the following fall, the spot opened up at AUM. And
what was that experience like?
Oh, it was great.
Really?
Yeah, I never looked back. They all have all of the players there living in the same apartment complex. So immediately you get in that, you're out of your parents' house, you're living on your own, you're doing groceries, you're cleaning up after yourself, you're living with other people,
right?
You're sharing a room with somebody, you're practicing 7 times in 5 days. Like, it's busy, you know, you have to make your own money, you're reffing. I loved it. Okay. I had so much fun.
So you didn't have host families, you didn't have I mean, did you have to pay your own rent, or what was that like?
So we paid the one-time fee, you know, with the academy and the rent, and he pretty much covered that. But then we had to keep up with electricity, and then of course the water and utilities and stuff. That was filled with the pre-stuff with the apartments and stuff. But we had to do Wi-Fi and electricity, so we had to like go ref, make our own money. Like, you know, we're following each other around, turning the lights off in the apartment, like feeling like our dads, and we're 18 years old.
That's so funny, because that's the first thing that came to mind when you're talking about having to pay your own bills. It's like you have a better understanding as to why your dad was doing that. Dude, electricity gets expensive so
For
fast.
Real. We had guys that had like $400 bills. We were like, holy cow, what are you guys doing?
In like an 800 square foot apartment?
Yeah.
Or what do you?
Literally, it was like a 2-bedroom apartment. It was ridiculous. 4 people in there somehow have these ridiculous bills.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's wild. And so you did that for a year. You were a center back in the UPSL up in Nashville. Now, was this like, how many players were on the team?
I would say we probably had around 30 or so. We had enough to field 2 teams. So we'd have 2 games a week. We'd scrimmage like a college, and then we'd have our UPSL. Okay. So typically like the stronger squad would go towards the UPSL. Okay. And then like the weaker one would go towards the college. But it would also flip-flop, of course, because you're there to get recruited, most of them. Gotcha. So I was pretty unique there, as well as actually already being committed. So I tended to just play in the UPSL games and avoid the college ones, you know, let those guys get the minutes in front of the college coaches that they may want to play with. Why not just go into AUM? Why take that gap year? So with the COVID stuff and all of them getting that extra year, there wasn't space that fall. All of those guys had that extra year. Gotcha. So it kind of screwed up the class of 2024 for a lot of people. A lot of the guys had to go the JUCO route. Luckily enough, the coach at AUM, you know, recommended this program to me. He knew the guy really well and was able to put me in touch. So it worked out. Dude, that's epic. Yeah, it was really cool. You're well taken care of. Yeah, for sure. Because I didn't lose my eligibility. That was like a free year for me. Really? I took some college classes, but as long as you stay under full time, it doesn't go towards eligibility. So, okay. And so since you have experience outside of, you know, obviously high school and college, what's it like being a player on Dothan United? I mean, it's unreal. It's like, you know, as long as Dothan United's around, I see no reason to go anywhere else. It's my hometown. Seeing all the fans, seeing the faces that I recognize up in there. I mean, it's a dream come true to be able to come and wear the shirt every day and go to practice every day. So, but like, did you anticipate the crowd? No. The crowd size? No, I'll never forget that first game against Brave SC. I lost. Our inaugural match? Yeah. I lost in my high school playoffs like 4 days prior. Went and practiced with these guys, and like the standard jumped a mile. Okay. I remember just my head was spinning. Yeah. And then I got to dress out. I'm sitting on the bench, and we walk out there, and we're looking up, and we're like, oh my gosh, there's this many people in Dothan. Like, I mean, you couldn't see an empty seat up there. Nobody expected it. Yeah. And then for it to happen the next game, and the next game, and the next game, we just expected for it to die, and it just never did. Yeah.
Yeah, hey man, I'm kind of in that same vein. I mean, I can't see the fans in the box. Like I have to get out of the box, go down the top flight of stairs, and see the stands. And I remember, like, you could also peek through the windows on the side offices and stuff. But I was like, dude, there are so many people here. Like, did we charge admission, or did what? And I was so impressed at the response. So I'm just so curious as to what's it like from a player standpoint. Like what were some of the things that like Reese Harrison and Cristobal Molina and Alec Palangian, like what were they all saying?
Well, they you can say for the last 2 years, like this year and the year prior, you could recruit based off the fans. Those guys had no clue because the coaches had no clue.
Right.
So it was like they were just coming in here to play under these coaches that they were familiar with. Okay. And then suddenly there's 5,000 people watching them. They've never played in front of that many people. Like they couldn't believe it either. They never heard of Dothan. They had no clue. They just heard they were going to Alabama. They didn't know anything about Alabama either. Dude,
that's wild. Yeah. It's so nice to hear it though. You know what I mean? Because we're a part of the community, and I was kind of going through a stage at that time when I was like, man, I really want to root for something. We homeschool, so we're not going to a school, a brick and mortar. So I was like, man, I'm just going to root for the city. And again, we homeschool, and I'm wearing, I remember, I specifically made a Dothan High hat. Bought the Richardson off Amazon, took it to go get it embroidered, custom, and I just started wearing it. And my wife was like, you know we homeschool, right? I was like, yeah, but I'm just rooting for the city. I feel like we need to have more people root for the city. And then a few months later, I see the article from John Johnson that Steve Donner and Steve Durham are bringing Dothan United, and this was before it was even named. And I was like, that's my team. I'm going to wear those colors. This is the hill I'm going to die. It's like, this is who I am rooting for. And my wife's like, but we don't even know any. I was like, I don't know. I just love them already. So, I think a lot of people had that same type of passion where they just wanted to root for something because we're so fragmented, right? Like you had Northview, you had DHS, you had Providence, you got HA, you've got Northview or Northside Methodist, and even the smaller private Christian schools.
Yeah, like Emmanuel and all those,
Right. So we're so fragmented, but now it's like we have one thing that doesn't matter, where you're from, what school you go to. It's you can root for Dothan United Soccer Club. So, all right. So 5,000 fans in the stands. Oh my gosh, what are we doing here? At what point did you, was there this isn't going away moment? These are legit? What, tell me a little bit more about your experience.
It was probably the second year. There was always I hope I can come back. I don't know, because, I made it from the tryouts and then I didn't get to play the first year. So it was the reaching out while I was in Tennessee. And then there was the moment where Carl was like, yeah, we want you back. Okay. So it was like, yes. And so I'm like, well, let's see, was it a fluke? Is it a one-year thing? And then we come back for the first game and it's the same crowd that we expected.
Right.
And that's when you're like, okay, maybe this is an every summer thing. This is Dothan.
That's cool. I mean, one of the things I admire about you, especially when we talk about your performance on the team, because you're not starting USL 2 matches. But you definitely are someone who brings a significantly higher level of value as a player for those training sessions. You know what I mean? It's to me, you seem like the kind of guy in the locker room who is pushing the starters to work harder, and not necessarily because you are trying to make them look bad, but it's just because you're giving a good effort, and these guys are like, oh, I got to run from him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I appreciate that very much, and it's always been so nice to see how you have progressed, from year 1, year 2, and now year 3, where dude, you got 2 goals, man, and you're a back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not supposed to be out there.
You're not supposed to be up. I'm just I'm so impressed. I love it, dude. I love seeing your progression. So, I mean, tell me, what are some of the other favorite things that you have about being a Dothan United player?
For me, I love the locker room stuff, hanging out with the guys, getting to meet all these different people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I got to, of course, meet Sean Keane in the fall, played with him at school. And then to find out, like, hey, he's coming up to me, Ricky's reaching out to me, what is Dothan about? And I just get to tell him everything. Like, and I knew as soon as I told him, like, he was there. Like,
What'd you tell him?
I was like, of course, I led with the fans, I led with the facility, the practice quality, and like what the squad can do, what we did last year. Like, and so you knew he was hooked as soon as he heard all of that.
That's cool.
So I enjoy getting to meet all the guys from different countries. Even going back to the first year, I remember meeting like Lucas and Aaron, Reese, Andy, all those guys from all across the world and different backgrounds. Like, it was just really nice to meet those guys and such unbelievable human beings that we still keep in touch to this day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
So you mentioned a couple of players from the first season. What about from the second season?
Well, Ryan Holmes, he and I were pretty close the second season. Of course, he came back. I was pretty close with Jaden as well. Okay. Yeah. We still talk occasion over social media. We keep up with each other. KP, of course.
Oh, dude, KP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's KP, right? Why don't you tell why don't you tell the listeners who Kevin Pierre Jr. is?
The first Dothan United player to play in the MLS. Yeah.
That's pretty epic.
It's unreal.
I've seen his social media stuff and New York City Football Club social media stuff. And I'm like, I was introducing this guy last year. Yeah. And now here he is in New York City.
I know. I feel like his fan. Like, I see his social media. I'm like liking the stuff. And I'm like, I was his teammate last year. Like, he's liking my stories as well. It's mind blowing.
That's funny. That's so funny. I mean, I guess it boils down to like, they're all just people.
Mm-hmm. And going back to them, they were both unbelievable human beings. Like, you can tell there's a lot of, you can be an amazing player, right? But you see the ones that really make it are the ones that are the amazing people too.
Yeah. 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 I think that if you're a cancer in the locker room, no one's going to put up with you.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about cancers, right? Like Apotheos that you guys played the other night that, I don't even know the guy's name, but he body slams Dakota Henry. And the one thing that stood out to me was none of his teammates came to his aid when he was surrounded by 6 other people.
They just expected it to happen. You can tell, like, that's like a normal thing for him. He loses his head, and the players are just probably sick of it at this point.
Maybe. I definitely do think that they were sick of it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, okay. Like, you can have tension with a teammate, but if it's like in the thick of a battle, in the thick of a game, doesn't matter what game, you're going to run out there because you're wearing the same colors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you, there are guys that don't like each other on every team I've ever been on. Right. But as soon as they're on the field together, like, it doesn't matter. He gets pushed. The guy that doesn't like him, he's going to go and knock that dude over. Right. It's just like, it's a camaraderie when you're on the field. Yeah. It doesn't matter how you like each other off the field.
Yeah. No, and I think that's one of the qualities that you have is that you definitely are likable.
I appreciate it.
So, and you've got the skill set too. And I think that's one of the things that in Coach Carl mentioned this a couple of years ago when he was talking about recruiting for the second season was he was looking for character players. And I was like, man, that makes so much sense because what is the point of the skill if you're a jerk?
Yeah. You don't want jerks, then you have a team that doesn't like each other. Like you were mentioning with Apotheos. Yeah. You want the team that's going to fight for each other, that, enjoys being around each other.
What is one of your favorite memories of Dothan United?
Well, of course, recent ones was probably the first goal. That was unreal. But as a whole with the team, I think that 3-0 comeback the first season, our last game of the year, that was unreal on the sideline. Watching that happen and like the explosion and then the moment with the fans afterwards. Yeah. And then last year in the playoffs. Okay. Laurie's goal to put us through to the next round. That was pretty unreal. Now that was coming off the bench.
That was to get us into the round of 16 or the round of 8?
The round of 16.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So at home. That's right. And we play that. Play that
every game.
We play it. Okay. I was trying to figure out when it
was.
The
shoe came off.
That's right. The shoe did come off, and he starts dancing on the sidelines. I want to touch on one of your other favorite memory, which was that 3-0. In the first podcast I ever had with Steve, we had talked about one of the events that he had from, I think, his first team up in Rochester. He said that they were down like 2-0 at the half or something like that. And I remember saying like, wow, 2-0 at the half in soccer. You're down by like 4 touchdowns,
Yeah,
relatively speaking. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember, I'm up in the box and I felt such a responsibility to like get the fans engaged and get the fans like to be loud for the boys, right? Like, hey, we're still here. We're rooting you guys on. You guys got to give us effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember telling the fans something to the effect of like, we're down 3-0, but stay with us. They're going to come back in the second half or something like that. And I just remember thinking like, that's all I can do. Like it's in the Lord's hands. That's it. I did
and
my
almost
part.
like it feels like a false promise. Like, I promise you it is, but in your head you're like, this is hard. This is going to be really tough.
It didn't feel like a false promise. Did not.
You had the faith.
Well, yeah, man, because I think that was the same year when East Atlanta had started just like mouthing off after a win. They came here and I think they tied or won.
They won.
Right. And we're shooting off fireworks and they're acting like it's their fireworks and they're celebrating like they just won the world, the cup or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'll never forget it, man. Crystal Ball Molina, Aaron Williams Fernandez, and Yago.
Nico Cam.
Yeah, Nico Cam.
Yeah.
Nico Cam
He was right in the middle.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Nico Cam. They're just shoving. They're like, move on. Like, don't talk. When they did that, I was like, okay, they love us as much as we love them.
They're behind the fans as much as the fans are behind them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I had a feeling that I really believed. I was like, Carl is in there, probably not cussing. Carl was probably like not throwing things and cussing and screaming. He might have been. I don't know. But I knew that those players were going to be told that like these fans are still here. You guys own. Get out there and
well, in the game, it wasn't being played for anything. We already knew we weren't making playoffs. This was just the last game of the season.
Right.
So it's like it's almost like you owe it to the fans after them being behind you all season. Your inaugural season, you have 5,000 people every game. Like you kind of owe it to them.
That's a good point. And I don't ever want the fans or the players to feel like they're in debt to us. But it's also, I guess, kind of human nature, right? Like it's a byproduct that like we're there.
Yeah, you're there. It's like we feel like we have to put on a show. You have all these people coming to watch. Like, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing for us. It pushes us,
You don't have to win every game, but I guess for me, it's like, boy, you better give us 100% effort.
Yeah. You don't want to go out there and roll over. You never will with that many people watching you.
Oh,
you never will.
It was, and that's so good to hear. But yeah, that was one of my favorite memories, man. And I just remember, I think I yelled Dragons attack like 17 times in the second half, just trying to get something. I don't know if it makes a difference. It probably annoys the coaches and players, but we're just trying to get stuff going. And, at the very least, when a fan goes to the game, even if we lose, which we haven't done that in a long time at Ripkew Stadium, praise God for that. That's pretty awesome. But if we lose, I want the fans to be able to go back home and be like, man, we had fun though.
Yeah.
Cracking some jokes from the game or, bringing some chants from the Inferno or saying some one-liners that they hear from me on the PA system. Like, I want it to be enjoyable for them to come back. So, all right. So let me ask you something. What is something that you want people to know about you?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty open. Like, everything that I do, that's just who I am. Right. Being out there on the field and talking with the fans is just the person I am. I guess I could say like I'm very much a homebody. Like if I'm not out like at school, like every chance I get, I'm coming home. I'm seeing my family. Like I'm a family guy, 100%.
Right on.
So that's why it's almost a double bonus being here at Dothan because I get to live at home. I get to be with my family all year.
Yeah. Yeah, as your host family, I remember telling Stephanie, I was just like, this is so easy.
Yeah.
With Ty, like low maintenance, like so appreciative of whatever we do. And, we don't have to worry about him. Like, does he need a ride to the grocery store? No, because mom's there and he also lives at home.
A home cooked meal. I'm good.
yeah, exactly. And like, I remember last year we had Lori and Ezra. And I was like, oh, it was the first year we did it as an organization. And I'm like, oh, we got to make them like, I guess we're making them home cooked meals. Like I envisioned like they're going to training and then they're coming back to, our house to like go swimming or just hang out or whatever the case is. And didn't happen that way, but it was like, hey, let us cook you guys something. Like we wanted to cook. We wanted to host and just make them feel welcome and not alone. But like with you, I'm like, Ty's good.
Yeah, I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me.
We're still having home cooked meals and stuff, but still, and even when it comes to like the gifts, our mentality was like, he doesn't need it now, but like, let's get him gift cards and things that he can
has
use
been super
when
helpful.
He's away from home, back at school.
Yeah.
So one last question. What's something that you would like to tell the Dothan United supporters?
Keep coming, keep being loud, stay behind us. I know the sky's the limit with this club and this town, with what we have here. It's unlike anything across the country. You can see higher attendance numbers in a few other clubs, but like, it's just numbers there. I don't think it's the same back that Dothan has with their fans and how they trust the team and how they truly love the team.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I agree with you.
And thank you. Thank you to the fans for doing this for the past 3 years. And it's an unbelievable feeling, like recently scoring the goal and looking in the fans and hearing the roar and hearing you talk up in the box. Like as the players, when you're kind of in the game, you can't really hear it until those stop moments happen, when the goals happen, when the tackles happen. And then you hear the fans. It's almost like it goes mute and then it comes out and it's loud. Like, I don't know if many people know this. The ground truly shakes after a goal on the field.
Does it really?
Yeah, you're literally shaking on the field.
That is awesome.
With the flames going, the fireworks going, the ground's shaking.
That is epic.
It's unreal.
That is so cool. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that with me. I also appreciate you sharing that, like, you can't hear me. Because I'm doing stuff to try to get the fans engaged. And I'm like, I really hope the players aren't distracted.
No, most of us are so focused on the game.
And that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
Because I believed that someone would have eventually told me something by now. But yeah, with this year, I really wanted to add to like some more traditions. You know what I mean? That's why I incorporated the chant.
Yeah, the last name.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, good. I hope you guys feel the love.
Yeah, it's
because
cool.
it's
and we get new players every year. It helps the fans learn the names and
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm glad you bring that up because that was a part of it. That was one of the reasons. Another one is like it's also a recruitment tool.
Who doesn't want to hear you chant their name?
And by 5,000 people.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also I feel like it really deepens the connection between the players and the fans. That it has to be done well. I rolled the dice and I had to train the fans, and it took a little bit of time, but they caught on a lot faster than what I thought. And I feel like that dead space after a goal, and then as we start from shortly after kickoff, right? Like that dead space there is like, okay, now we have something filled. Like we don't have just this huge spike of emotion because the goal happened and then it's silence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, we're going. We're still pumped. And then we can kind of like tame ourselves down.
Well, and as the player, it's like, let's go. Let's do it again. You have all these people screaming for you. Let's go. Let's keep showing them stuff.
Dude, that's I'm glad you're saying that because that's what I've been seeing from the box, man. So, Ty, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for all of your hard work in pushing the boys for USL 2 matches, and you're doing phenomenal during the friendlies. I always love watching you play, man. So,
Thank you.
If you need something, man, just holler at me.
Absolutely.
All right.